Good morning. Welcome to MFC Group's FasTech seminar hosted by TMC. Thank you for joining us this morning. Today we're spotlighting how to master EMI filter challenges with AstrodyneTDI. Our speaker for this seminar is Anand Awasthi. Anand is a seasoned director of product management at AstrodyneTDI who has spent 20 years in the field of EMI filters and has helped develop many filter product lines for LCR, Radius Power, and AstrodyneTDI. Everyone is muted, so please type any questions that you may have into the meeting chat, and we'll monitor the questions throughout the presentation and make sure we answer all of them at the end. And be sure to stick around. At the end, we're going to do a fun round of trivia, and the top 3 winners will win a prize. Anand, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining this presentation regarding power supplies and filters for board mount applications. We're going to focus only on EMI filters today. Power supply will be done probably subsequently in another presentation. Because what we have seen over the years that in many applications, a discrete filtering solution is not the most ideal option, and OEMs and customers do look for solutions that are board mounted or on the board, which makes life easy for them in terms of this space and mounting and design. So we are focusing this presentation purely on that capability. We have a history going back to 1960s, multiple companies that Astrodyne acquired over the years. TDI Power, which is our high power group, started in 1960s. Then various different companies, and we focus on the 3 companies here that belong to the EMI filter group in the next couple slides. Here's the team. I am Anand Awasthi, as already introduced. I'm the Director of Product Management and Marketing at AstrodyneTDI. I work for the EMI filter business unit for Astrodyne. We have 3 business units mainly: Power, EMI filters, and PDUs. PDUs is not a true business unit in the sense it's a more of a product category, and based on what the overall shape and size and the construct of the product is, it could either fall into the EMI filter group or the power group. So in reality, there are 2 product business units, but within that, we do have a segmentation of power distribution units. Luke is the product manager for power for industrial applications. And then our field team includes Rodney Rothwell, who's the regional sales manager for the central region. Joshua, who is the regional sales manager for the eastern region. And then we have 2 application engineers covering central and east. For central, it's Anil Kurugore, and for eastern is Quentin Boothman. In day-to-day, you'll probably deal with more of these people, and when things get a little more technical, they need more support from the BU, that's when Luke and I get involved. So this is our mission statement, and it actually talks about what we really do in the marketplace. So our major customer segmentation, if you see, we work with a lot of companies that are into appliance manufacturing, semiconductor capital equipment manufacturing, some of the industrial product, commercial products that actually enrich your life, that makes your life easy, that makes life better, provide you better understanding of how to connect with various applications. So it makes your life easy. That's why we call it enrich. Product is the military part of our business. We do a lot of work with our military customers, military and aerospace customers. So that's what it indicates. And then a subsequent or very substantial part of our business is in the medical industry, especially our low power supplies. We have we work with very demanding applications such as heart pumps, dialysis equipment, and so on and so forth, baby incubators. So that becomes the 3rd major segment of our application spectrum, if you will. We do very complex solutions. So whether it's a 16.5 kilowatt liquid cooled power supply that our high power team builds, and it comes in a 1U form factor. This is the most compact power per square inch among any of the competitor products out there. So whether we're talking about that, or we're talking about taking power supplies, putting filters and various compact together and making a PDU, or doing fully standard and fully custom filter solutions. We are everywhere. We have been doing this for many years, over 60 years of history, and we are very good at it. We are privately held by a private equity company called Tinicum. And they believe in holding companies for a long term, as a long term strategy. They don't believe in buying and reselling. So they have been making subsequent investments into AstrodyneTDI to make us a better company, more engineering focused and production focused company, so we can come up with newer products, better products, improved products, and provide better solution to our customers. On the filter side, we work on various different platforms. So we do industrial, we do commercial, we do appliances, MRI rooms, medical facilities, anywhere where there's a filter need. Where there is a filter need for incoming power, whether it's a discrete component or whether it's a discrete filtering solution, we do everything. So in terms of filter, we always say we are the broadest filter application coverage company in the world. In terms of revenue, we are a number 2 in the world and number 2 in the US. But in terms of application coverage, we are the broadest, because there are companies out there who do a lot of other things, but they either focused on certain commercial platforms or only on the military platform. We do everything. You need a commercial, military, appliance, facility, medical, anything you need, we have a solution for that. And we are probably at some point in time, we have worked in that space. We are very engineering focused. About 10% of our workforce is technical, workforce with degreed engineers. And we design our products and we manufacture our own products. We have global manufacturing. We are based both in the US, in China, and we are also expanding into Malaysia now. So what different applications we cover? From the filtering standpoint, if I talk, when you go into power, things become a little bit different, but majority, for example, power doesn't really deal, our power group doesn't really work with the appliance manufacturing, but from on the filter side, we do a lot of work with the professional appliance manufacturers, because these are sometimes smaller appliances that don't have enough space in there, and they're looking for complying to EMC regulations, and that's where experience really comes very handy. And we are able to provide them solution that's not only helps them comply, but it also is manufacturable, and it can be easily assembled into the end product. So we do work with appliances, we work with industrial customers, we do medical, semiconductor manufacturing equipment, as we said, and many other industries. MRI, for example, we have filters for MRI rooms, we have filters for large facilities for incoming power. And the real part is that when we do this thing, most of our products are designed by us, and we design our own inductors, which is what really makes us really competitive in terms of designing and making custom and standard inductors for our customers who are looking for discrete components and board mount solutions. So we not only have board mount solutions for filters, we also have board mount solution for discrete components. We have, as I said, we have a broad range of filters for pretty much any application out there for the EMI, from the EMI standpoint, whether it's an AC or DC line. If there's incoming power that needs to be filtered, either for the noise reduction standpoint or from the EMC compliance standpoint, we probably have a product that we can supply. We do very active customization and modification of products. So there are some features built into our products where we can actually take our standard filters and literally make some changes without having to make them custom. These are inbuilt options that customer can choose. But from there, if there further customization is needed, we do a lot of customization of filters. As I said, we have a full line of inductors and chokes, because we design our own inductors for our filters. So we have probably thousands of such designs that we can typically pick from. We do offer quick sampling for components. A sample could be made in as little as maybe a week or two. In terms of our larger filter solutions, typically we try to ship out our filter samples if they're not in stock in about 2 to 4 weeks. If they're in stock, they ship immediately. We have been making, we have been, as I said, I was talking, we have manufacturing in the US. So US is our headquarters, and that's where we do our design and manufacturing of our products. Around 30% of our manufacturing is still done in the US facility for all the product lines. We don't manufacture every product here, but based on the need, based on the volumes, criticality of the product, and so on and so forth, certain products are decided to be made in the US, and some it makes more viable in commercial sense to make at our Far East Chinese facilities. We're also expanding into Malaysia now because of geopolitical reasons, and the factory is already in production. And currently, it's working on certain critical products that our customers cannot buy as made in China. So those are being manufactured in Malaysia now. But eventually, this facility will open to every product line in coming years. So that way, we are really diversified. We can do manufacturing in the US. We can manufacture products in China and also in Malaysia. Um, we have been investing a lot on automation equipment for our factory, so we can bring more cost effectiveness to our products. We can do things quickly, correctly, more repeatable, and at a much better cost than in a hand-on products. Our in-house, we do have an in-house safety lab, and the safety lab basically what it does, any product that so all our standard products carry agency approvals. In case you end up modifying a product, that product could lose its agency approvals. And our in-house safety lab allows us to recertify. We have a level 4 compliance with Intertek and Semco, which means we can do all the testing in-house. We can write our own reports and send it over to agency. They verify our report and they give us a certification. So it's a very quick process. And on a good day, we could actually get all the certification in about 4 weeks. We typically say 4 to 6 weeks. All the testing is done and typically certification is received unless there is a delay from the agency side in releasing the certificate. From our side, we are typically done in 4 weeks. So it allows us to really modify our products and the cost is really, really comparative compared to if you send a product out to, let's say, a UL lab or an IC lab. Probably would cost about a third of what you'll pay at a UL or an IC lab. So it's a lot less expensive, it's much faster, and it allows us to quickly modify our products to customers' needs and still provide a solution that's fully agency certified. So some of the board mount solutions I was talking about. Our RP190 series filter, it's a plastic housing filter which comes with board mountable pins. It is a true board mount solution we offer. These are offered in 1, 3, 6, and 10 amp ratings. These are rated for 250 volt, up to 250 volt, 120, 250. 50, 60 hertz. These can also be used in DC applications. So anything that's rated up to 250 volts AC can be used up to 250 volt DC applications. So these can be used both EC and DC applications. They have been designed to give very good insertion loss performance. We try to put as much component values in there as possible given the package, and that we can get the maximum possible insertion loss in the given form factor. These are pretty compact designs, and this product is fully agency approved. Similarly, RP 1299-30, which is a DC filter. Again, it's usable in AC applications, but because it is not rated for AC and safety agencies typically get more concerned about AC applications, we suggest not using it in AC unless it's fully verified. But this is rated for 75 volts DC. It has been upgraded to 250 volts DC on a separate under separate model number. So from 75 to 250 volts DC, this product can be used. It's a 30 amp rated board mount filter for DC applications. Very extensively used in industrial and telecom sectors. Again, carries full agency approvals. Both UL North American and the Canadian applications, and it also carries the IC certification. Now, all our filters, including RP190 and 1299 and all the other discrete, the box type chassis mount filters, which is not a focus today, but just want to put it out there. They have certain options that are available that are selectable by the customer. For example, Y gap value. As a part of the part numbering scheme, let's say you're selecting an RP190 series filter and you want a 10 amp filter. So you can say RP190-10. After that, we allow our customers to pick the Y capacitor value. That's selectable. So on our product, on part number selection table, there is a column for Y caps, and it lists, let's say 0, 0.1, 0.47, 1, 2.2, 4.7, maybe 10. Those numbers are listed there. So you can pick any of those Y caps based on what your leakage current needs are. If you already are close to your leakage current limit that you have to meet, you can always pick a lower Y cap value. Now let's say the Y cap value you really need is not there. Let's say you're looking for 0.33. You can pick 0.33. It's not on the list, but still it's covered under our agency approval. So any of those Y cap values you pick is covered under agency approval and is a standard product for us. So it allows you to still use a Y cap and get the insertion loss performance out of it while also complying with the leakage current requirements. So it's RP190-10- let's say 0.33. That's your part number. And this appears across the board on all our filters. Any filter that you select from us will give you this option if it's a filter which has the both X cap, Y caps, and inductor in it. And then we get into discrete magnetics. We do offer high frequency chokes. These are typically used for suppressing high frequency noise, either let's say in line with the brushes of a motor, or sometimes on PC boards, control boards for incoming high power frequency noise. So they do a pretty good job at suppressing those. And in addition to those, we do both common mode and differential mode inductors. Our capability goes up to about 90 amps. We have done differential mode inductor up to 90 amps. And it was for a industrial and one for telecom application. And on common mode, we can do really high. I think the biggest one we did on common mode side was about 75 or 80 amps. Sometimes space becomes a constraint on common mode because you have one core and you have multiple windings on it. So really, there's only so much copper you can put in there. But we've still done, I think, 75 amps is the biggest common mode inductor we have done so far. These are offered in various different form factors. These are offered in board mountable scenario that you could actually put them directly mount them on a board with a base or without a base, depending on the shape size of the inductor. But these can also be offered as a leaded component, which means you can be integrated into wire harness, connected directly to a control board using cables and wires, supplied as a full wired assembly, a value-added assembly. So all those options are possible for us. A typical application will be, industrial power supplies, motors, drives, and we have pretty much touched any of these. EV chargers. EV chargers have these different stages for inverters and incoming power, AC to DC. All those require these inductor common mode and differential mode inductors, and we have been supplying inductors for those applications. Test and measurement, especially the bigger test and measurement devices will require something like an IC inlet filter or a chassis mount filter, but the more compact ones, the more tabletop type equipment where you don't have enough space, sometimes the filtering is on board, and those instances are handled by us by supplying the board mount components in terms of common mode and differential mode inductors. We do a lot of this in small appliances, especially something like if you have a hand mixer or a very small blender. Sometimes there's no space for filters, and in these situations we work with our customers for designing these solutions and put them on the board. Now, one feature, one of the capabilities that Astrodyne offers is we offer pre-compliance services to our customers, which means customers send us their products, and if you can fit it on a lab and we can handle the amount of power that equipment needs, we will design a power filter solution for you. So it's either a discrete filter, fully either chassis mount or IC inlet style filter, or if there's no space, we will come up with discrete component that allows the equipment to comply with EMC regulations, whether it's CISPR 14, CISPR 11, CISPR 15, and then we'll work with the end user to see how those components can be put on board. Because sometimes where you place those components can impact your insertion loss performance. So if you put anywhere, it may not be as effective as opposed to when it's put closer to the point of power entry. So we worked with our OEMs and decided this is the location where you should put this inductor so it is most effective and gives you most performance. We have done thousands of these designs because, as I said, we have probably hundreds of filter families. So AstrodyneTDI acquired 3 filter companies: LCR Electronics, Radius Power, and Filter Concepts. LCR Electronics was on East Coast. Radius Power and Filter Concepts were on West Coast. So what we see at AstrodyneTDI Filter Business Unit is an amalgamation of these 3 companies. So we have hundreds of standard filter products and then thousands and thousands of custom filters. And each of these products has an inductor in them. And then we have done a lot of different inductor designs as well for our customers. So when you put all of that together, we have thousands, tens of thousands of inductor designs that we could pick from. So when a customer comes in looking for a filter, we may not have a standard product at that point in time, but we have probably a design already done that will work. I work very extensively with these customers. Sometimes, MIL 461, CE102, sometimes CE101 for type of applications where you're looking for a differential mode inductor to suppress your low frequency harmonics. And trust me, most often than not, I am able to pull a design out of my repository that was done 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years back. that is effective in that application, and I don't have to redesign it. I can quickly give them a sample and go into manufacturing from there. We have, and in addition to that, we have been doing a lot of like multi-year investment on our inductor capability. We have been adding, automated inductor winding machines. We have made it few. There are more getting added. We are trying to do a good job at making inductors so that we can make more standard products. These are, again, as I said, like these are repeatable. They are same quality, and these are much better built as opposed to a hand mount coil. They're professional, and we can actually take out cost out of our manufacturing, so we can make it more reasonable and more cost effective. And we are slated to release a standard platform for our inductors in 2024. As I said, we already have products. Standard, you call them standard, you call them repository. We already have product. All we have to do is take this product, put into a nice standard, flat data sheet, and make it available to our end customers online. And this will be done in 2024. But that doesn't stop our customers from coming into us and asking for these board mount for solutions. Either it's a board mount filter, a board mount component, and if you have a chassis mount type or IC type solutions, yes, we do have tons of product in that segment as well. Some of the applications we've done in past. We have done filters for welding machine. This was a three-phase 70 amp inductor that was designed for a welding machines. Keep in mind these machines here and the OEM's name are purely just for pictorial purposes. This may not exactly be the OEM that we supplied this product to, but this is just to give an idea what kind of product it was. Customers looking for EMI compliance. They really were failing in a specific frequency segment. Really, a large box-style chassis mount filter would have been overkill. Space was a constant. We came up with a three-phase inductor design, gave it to them to test it, and it worked for them, and it became a part of their design. It's a board mount component. They're still buying it, and in fact, the product was also carried over to the next generation in a panel mount version. So they converted that from PC board mount into panel mount version. So that's a second segment. Same components being used. We have designed inductors for motor drives. These are typically the one I'm talking about specifically here is a 3-winding inductor. We have done various different types, but this was a very unique 3-winding inductor on a single core. We on 3 different windings. It was not a 3-phase, just so you know. It was a 3-winding inductor for very specific application inside a drive. This was an inline product. This was not really board mount, but because it's a much bigger product, but it could be adapted in a board mount configuration if necessary, because we did look into it and customer decided not to go in that direction. Fully custom design. We have done filters for medical applications. So for a baby incubator, this was a product that was sent to us. Customer wanted to design a filter solution. We tested this product in our lab. A similar product in past that we had tested, we actually designed a filter for that. It had an inductor and an X cap, and it was a packaged filter solution that they used. Space was a constant, and we actually were able to modify the box design to make sure that the available space is where it needs to fit. It could fit there, and not create an issue in terms of manufacturing process. The second unit we received was probably designed a little better, and it has lower noise profile. The only area that they were failing was 150 kilohertz to about 500 kilohertz, and what they really needed was an inductor. So we were able to simplify the solution. The X cap was not necessary. As you would understand, it's a medical product, so Y capacitors will never be needed. So they were never were a part of equation, because leakage current is absolutely critical. It cannot be anything more than 0.5 microamps at 110 volt AC. So it's only X cap and an inductor that's what being used. But on this specific platform, even an X capacitor was not needed. So we ended up designing an inductor, and we worked with the customer so that they can put it on their board, and were able to comply with the CISPR 11 requirements. And we still supply this inductor to them. An example of high frequency chokes. So we worked with a blender application wherein we were defining solution for incoming, and there was an incoming filter solution that was being used on the filter, but they were still failing in the high frequency segment, about 30 megahertz, 40, 50, 60 megahertz range. So part of it was conducted emissions and part of it was radiated emission. And what we realized is most of this noise was coming from the motor brushes, because this was a brush motor. We ended up putting these high frequency rod chokes in line with the brushes. And it allowed us to suppress the noise coming from the brush and allowed them to pass both conducted and disturbance power requirements. In the future model, these chokes were put on the board, on the PC board, and they were still as effective as putting in line with the brushes. So two different segments. We supplied these as a board mount solution, as you see on the screen, and we also supplied them with leads coming out and wires connected to it fully, heat shrinked, so they could be either directly mounted in line with the brush or as a part of the wire harness. We designed a common mode inductor for a power supply that was used for access control. The power supply you see here is actually an Astrodyne power supply, but that power supply was pretty close to it. We don't want to show the customer's power supply here, so we decided to show this one. But it was a very similar inductor, a very similar power supply. They were using it for access control systems. They had to comply to EMI requirements, and they needed an inductor. They were able to do some lab work to come up with their own design. They figured out they need around 4 millihenry, but their inductor was very crude. They were not able to build it because they were not a company that made inductors and filters. They were a company that made power supplies. So they approached us. We had worked with them in the past and supplied them filters. We were able to take their design, and we looked at their performance that the inductor was giving before the testing and before the inductor was put in and after the inductor was put in. We saw the profile, the noise profile, how much mitigation it was providing, and we selected the right ferrite core. And wound it and sent it to them. After the second iteration, they had a solution that was very compact. It could fit on the board in the given location, and it gave them the desired performance to comply with EMI requirement. So these are some of the applications where we either designed a solution that was customers very custom design, and we were able to productionize it. Some product where we actually have a standard inductor that we actually took out from our repository and we're able to use with the customer and allows them to pass. And somewhere in between, we had a standard product, we have to tweak it a little bit and allowed them to pass the requirements. So just a snapshot, what we do, we have fully standard products, both in terms of filtering and in terms of board mount components, board mount filter and board mount components. When we say standard, we have standard designs that could be taken from and be used. And we are a company that we believe that our customers don't need filters and component. They need solution. Sometimes what we have may not be exactly what a customer needs. And we are very willing to modify our products to meet customers' needs, whether it's electrical modification in terms of current rating and values of the components, or mechanical packaging, mounting, and so on. We do it day in and day out. Some of it, as I said, is already covered under agency approvals. Some of it is not. If it's not, we do have in-house agency certification process, which not only does safety certification for our filters, which is UL 60939 and IEC 60939. Now our safety lab covers a bunch of other requirements like UL 508, 5 or 6 different power supply requirements. So if a component or a filter needs to be agency approved to some other UL and IC requirements and not really the filter ones, we are able to run those tests in our facility, our level 4 facility, and get the certification done pretty quickly. In addition to that, we have a full team of our engineers who reside both in the US, in our European European team, and also in our offshore facilities, both in Malaysia and China. And in addition to that, we have a full team of field sales engineers who are working directly with you. These are engineers who have worked actually as a design engineer in their past lives, and now they have decided to go out and help customers as field application engineers. Very knowledgeable. They have good knowledge about power supply and filter products, and they can work with you in your lab and design solutions for you, help you come up with a solution. We do go to our customers' labs while they're testing and work with them to tweak the filter solution, whether it's our solution or it's their solution that they need to get to a pass. So whenever you need any filtering help, whether it's a box, chassis mount filter, IC inlet filter, board mount filter, or discrete filtering components, you can connect with one of us. The names that were given on the second page, I'll bring it back again. And those are the folks who will probably work with you and bring you the right solution to your EMI compliance needs.
Great. Thank you so much for the great presentation, Anand.